of you who know me know that I am a big fan and follower of Dr. Gabor Mate, and I am particularly impressed with his methodology of compassionate inquiry, which he developed when he was working with the terminally ill and addicts. And I just want to share with you a little insight based on my reading and consumption of videos by Dr. Gabor Mate. As I approach the middle of my life, I have recently come to the decision that I really want to base my actions and way in the world on compassion, which is based on curiosity and non-judgment. Now, this is particularly challenging for me because judging people, things, events is basically my favorite hobby in the world. But I realized recently that I have to give it up because in this world and society and culture and globe that is so full of division, what we need now are acts of unity and connection. And compassion is the vehicle that brings us to that goal. And this can also be used anywhere, including the workplace. We don't have to overdo it, of course, and we don't all have to love each other all the time. But one of the things that I have realized is that when I do find myself making a judgment, and it's not going to stop, I take a moment to pause instead of making these recriminations and hating myself for falling below a standard that I've set for myself. I take a pause and I say, well, what's going on? Do I actually know who that person is, what their motivation is, what their context is? And the answer most of the time is no. And so when I make that realization, what I do is I allow the moment of judgment or judgmentalness just to go. I just let it go. And this is a much more productive way than making reproaches and criticizing oneself. Because once you let it go, that's when you create the space for new impressions, new insights, new realizations to actually come in. When you're in the state of judgment or recrimination, which is also self-judgment, you close off opportunities for new things to arise. And this can be applied as much in your own mind and mindset as it can in the boardroom. The other realization I've recently had is that being a very extroverted, communicative, some people might even say polarizing person from time to time, it has come to my attention that I am also the recipient of judgment. I can tell sometimes that negative feedback is coming my way. And in those moments, I've also tried to stop reacting and just let that moment go. Because the person who's making the judgment also doesn't have all the facts, and they may or may not realize that. But as Brené Brown says, I am not other people's opinion of me. Brené Brown also says, I'm doing the best I can. And that's something that you can keep with you when you notice that other people are giving you that attitude. And this, again, will be applicable in your personal life as well as at the workplace, in the boardroom, wherever. Now, both Gabor Mate and Brené Brown talk about boundaries. And Gabor Mate has been very clear that there is such a thing as healthy anger. So whenever a judgment is coming towards you that is negative in terms of its effect on you and your life or your work, you are entitled to respond with that healthy anger and put down the boundary and say, hey, back off. That's really fully okay. And in fact, Brené Brown has argued repeatedly that it is only by having boundaries that you can practice compassion.